You are listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern vitality. If you are seeking to reconnect with your innate vibrancy, you're in the right place. I'm Emily Davis, a seasoned holistic esthetician and herbalist. Join me as we unlock the secrets of ancient skincare practices, explore the beauty of seasonal and nature-based living, herbalism, and true holistic well-being for you and the broader ecosystem. Please remember that the information I share in this podcast is based on my personal and professional experiences and is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not individualized skincare advice, nor is it medical advice. I encourage you to take charge of your own health decisions and listen to your body, seeking out the resources and professionals that best support your wellness journey. Welcome back in. It's episode 34 of Skin, Earth, Vitality. I'm so excited. I have another interview for you guys today, and I've just been loving bringing other experts on the podcast, getting other opinions, getting different opinions from mine, and I hope that you guys have been enjoying it as well. Today, I interviewed Dr. Kyra DuCharme. She is a naturopathic dermatologist, and I met her on Instagram. Like I meet so many of my colleagues, and I just was instantly drawn to this idea of a naturopathic dermatologist because it is very few and far between. I am not very familiar with many naturopathic dermatologists, and so when I found her, I knew I had to bring her on the show. Dr. DuCharme is a licensed naturopathic physician and founder of DuCharme Integrative Dermatology, a private practice in Arizona. She obtained her doctorate from the Sonoran University of Health Sciences. Her naturopathic practice is focused on holistic dermatology and preventative aesthetics. She utilizes traditional Chinese medicine, botanical medicine, and hydrotherapy in her private practice. In addition to her extensive education, she has received additional specialized training in herbal medicine and facial cupping. She does see clients virtually, so if you connect deeply with her, I will link how to get in touch with her in the show notes. Definitely go give her a follow on Instagram, and I hope you enjoy. I'll see you on the other side. What is a wellness or skincare trend that you swear by, and what's one that you just can't get into?
Oh, that's a good one because there are so many and they like turn over so
Yeah.
quickly, right? I think anything in the mind body, but also I guess I could really get behind the hot girl walk.
Oh, yes. Love that.
So, yeah, going on that 4 mile walk, thinking about just how beautiful you are and also your goals, how you're going to achieve them, and that gratitude to being grateful for what you have, because I think that starts with us. We have to be grateful for what we have now and be able to receive later once we start working with those goals and having that list of how I'm going to meet those goals as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, I love
Yeah.
that. So when you're on your hot girl walk, are
Mm.
you listening to podcasts or books on that topic, or is this all internal for you?
It's all internal. I like to kind of zone out and not have any noise except for either nature or whatever is going on around me. Yeah, so it's mainly just I'm kind of in my head and I'm keeping it as positive as possible.
Mm.
Because, of course, as a business owner, you're thinking about the next thing that you need to do, and it can be overwhelming. But I think having a path to reach those goals, and the gratitude balance out the fact that, hey, how am I going to reach these goals, these lofty goals that I have, but also I'm grateful for getting this far with my business or in my relationships, whatever that topic is that you're kind of thinking about during that walk.
I need to
Yeah.
get better at doing it quietly. I always have to have noise in my ear.
Yeah, it
And
can be a distraction.
yeah.
That noise can be a real distraction as to, like, kind of building your goals, whatever that is, in your practice or in your personal life.
Yeah.
Um, so that's one of them. The hot girl walk. I guess another would be just grounding while you're out there. You can ground, take your shoes off, put your feet in the grass, or get your hands dirty if you're a gardener. Get your hands in that earth. It really does something
Oh, you're
for your
speaking my
mental health.
language.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's so powerful. What do you think of like the grounding shoes that they have? Have you tried those?
I haven't. Tell me more.
So they don't have rubber soles because apparently like the rubber is going to be a anti-conductor for the electrical current from the earth. So they're the ones that I have are leather, and then they also have a little copper disc in the bottom.
Okay.
I don't
Healing.
walk in them often because they're not very comfortable, but I
Okay.
want to find some that are comfortable. I love the idea of them.
Yeah. I think the idea is great, and especially if you're living in an area that maybe you don't feel safe putting your feet in the grass too. Maybe
Oh
it's sprayed often with pesticides, or you don't know how they're kind of keeping it. It could be dangerous in some ways, so having something on your feet might be really helpful.
yeah, I never even
Um,
thought of it like that. That's a good point. Oh,
mhm.
so do you have any trends that are trending that you haven't been able to get into or aren't your favorite? I'm sure there's
There,
many, but
there are so many, and usually it starts with an influencer who has no idea what they're kind of putting out. Either they're being paid to tell their followers about this trend or product, or it's worked for them in some capacity, and they're kind of letting people know. But I think anything that's really backed by an influencer who doesn't have the credentials behind them to back it up is something that I just can't get behind. And also the submerging your face in ice cold water. As a naturopathic physician who, like, we study acupuncture, I practice acupuncture in my clinic. In traditional Chinese medicine, that is an absolute no. It causes a lot of stagnation in our body. And where there's stagnation, there's going to be problems. So we
yeah.
want everything to flow. With flow, you're going to have that glow. With flow, it brings fresh blood, it brings nutrients. You need that flow, and shocking your system that way is just not something that I'm interested in.
I'm really glad you brought this up because somebody actually DM'd me the other day asking why people were not recommending ice on the face, either maybe like an ice roller or the submerging your face in a bowl of ice water. And so I love your explanation there. It makes total sense. Is there anything else that you want to add to that? Maybe you're an esthetician who's listening, like why in Chinese medicine an ice roller may not be the first thing that you go for.
Is healing. And if you're going to use ice or some cold, it's going to be minimal time. So really an inflammatory response that is natural for our body, and it brings with it healing properties. So stopping that inflammation immediately is not going to help in any way. When it comes to cold, I have to say this part too. So submerging your entire face in cold is not optimal. However, the eyes do have an affinity for cold. So if you wanted to put like um, some cucumbers or even potatoes, some raw potatoes, cold raw potatoes on the eyes, they're going to help with puffiness and help with any eye kind of, I guess, issue immediately. It's not going to help with some huge condition like glaucoma or anything like that, but
Sure.
for a for a wellness self-care kind of day, the eyes would be the only thing that I would say, okay, let's use some cold there, but I'm not going to tell them put ice on your eye.
That's interesting. I had never heard that before. Thank you for
Yes,
sharing that.
absolutely.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
glad we talked about that. I'd love for you to tell more about your background, and I'm already fascinated. You're so well spoken, and
Well,
just I
thank
feel like
you.
you have so much wisdom to share. So how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, so I started medical school and I was just kind of interested in a lot of areas and topics. So, how I would practice eventually. And I went to an aesthetics meeting in school and fell in love with the whole idea of seeing that change and increasing my clients' confidence. And with the skin, you're seeing immediate change, right? It's not something that you're waiting on for a long time to test labs or anything like that. You're going to see this change pretty immediately, which is something that I like too. But I went to that meeting and I thought, yes, this is something that I'm interested in, and let me find as many opportunities to expose myself to derm and to aesthetics as possible to see how I really want to practice, what modalities I want to bring in. And that led to me becoming the first naturopathic medical student to gain an internship with a board certified dermatologist, which was
Wow.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. It was with Nichols MD in Connecticut. It was a virtual internship, but we kind of checked in and it was great learning for me, great information, and I thank her all the time and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. So when I graduated, took my board exams, I was kind of looking for a practice that offered cosmetic acupuncture or that was actually interested in that, in addition to some other modalities for aesthetics and skincare. But there was nothing that actually stood out or that was interested in bringing that on. So my husband was like, start your own practice, just go
Oh,
ahead and do it. Yeah. Oh my God. He's such
I
an
love
amazing
this.
supporter.
Oh, that's amazing. Good for you.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I did. I opened my practice in February 2022 and it's been slow, but I have a daughter, so it's been nice to have to be able to take it as slowly as I can, and yeah, just kind of
But
building and
that's the dream. I mean, you
yeah.
want why build a business if you're not building it around your dream life? You
Yes,
know, you can go work for somebody else and do that and not have all the other things that go around with business ownership. So that's amazing. I love that for you.
thank you.
I love hearing women doing that. I think it's so important, and I think it's an important part of the change in this new world that we're building.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are at the forefront, and I think it's so important to tell our daughters to, go for your dreams and to set that example for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I am not as familiar with naturopathic dermatology. I don't feel like that's very common. What is a naturopathic dermatologist, and how is your approach different than maybe conventional dermatology?
So, a naturopathic physician that focuses on derm is definitely not common at all. You're so correct on that. So, the way that I approach derm is very holistic. So, I am spending an hour to an hour and a half with my clients getting to know their lifestyle, getting to know their family dynamics and their diet. And I'm able to bring in various modalities and kind of knowledge that I know from med school, from clinical practice in order to address them. So, in conventional dermatology or traditional dermatology, these dermatologists aren't allowed the time with their clients that I'm able to give my clients. So they're kind of just writing that script or giving the um the treatment that they've given to everyone first before learning more. So I'm able to listen to my clients and get to know them on a deeper level in order to address their skincare concerns.
Mm, that is so interesting. And then obviously you're bringing in the traditional Chinese medicine, and are you often doing, like, does every patient get acupuncture as well, or do you, I mean, maybe that's not appropriate for everyone, I'm not sure.
Right. So it's extremely individualized and up to them. So I'll try to meet my clients and where they're at. So if they're interested in acupuncture, then I can absolutely provide that to them if it is called for. If it's not, we can address either sleep with acupuncture, or we can use ear seeds too. So that's a more needleless procedure for them. But if they're not interested or it's not warranted, we do not have to go there. There are various other modalities to use, like supplements. We can provide that, or facial cupping, or needleless, yeah, needleless kind of
Sure.
procedures. Yeah.
Okay, that's so interesting. Do you have like a specific niche that you work with? Is it really all across the board?
Really, I like working with women. Women probably as young as 16, 18, yeah, until whenever. So just kind of addressing those concerns in those younger teenage years of acne, or if they're on Accutane, there are things that we can do as well to support them.
Do you integrate like these natural treatments with conventional treatments? Are you mostly working with like herbs rather than prescriptions? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so usually I'm not writing a prescription for my clients. If that's something that they're interested in, I can absolutely help. If it's something that I know how to prescribe, then sure. If they're wanting retinol, fine. Um, but as a naturopathic physician, there are so many other things that we can do to kind of get them the results that they want. Retinol for clients, they know they're going to get that immediate kind of change in their skin. If that's something that they want, but they're like, okay, once I get the change, once my skin clears and whatever their concern is, I want to start with the more natural treatment. So to kind of meet them where they're at when they're coming to me. If they're wanting something immediate, fine, let's do that. But while we're on that retinol kind of regimen, then we can start with herbs, and we can start with supplements and other modalities like cupping to bring more blood flow to the skin. Obviously, it's going to be slow when they're on that retinol because you don't want to aggravate the skin with the cupping as well. So it's it really depends on what they're kind of looking for. But yeah, usually they know they're coming to a naturopathic physician. So
Right.
they know that they're going to get that treatment and they understand. And I explain to them, I teach them that the way herbs and botanicals work is it's a long game. Like it's not something that we're going to try for 2 weeks. It is strict. And if we want to see this change, this is the way that they need to take the supplements. This is the way that um, we're going to use skincare as well. And there are some skincare DIY recipes that I'm going to provide to them that are like the most natural of the natural. Um, but also, I can help with one on one skincare consults as well if it's something that they're wanting to buy from um, different retailers then that I would support, then we're able to go that route as well.
I love that you talk about meeting people where they are also, because I think that's a missing piece in the holistic world. And I can sometimes myself fall away from that or get a little blinded to that. And I think that for some reason it just makes me think of aromatherapy. And sometimes you can't, if you're working with someone who is really, really down in the dumps, you don't want to just hit them with a really high top note, very like a citrus for improving mood. You want to meet them where they are with like a vetiver that's very grounding and a very low note. So that just came to mind. But I love that you do that and offer that, but then also are able to speak to what the long game looks like as well. How do you approach acne or eczema specifically?
So, in general, when a client will come to me with those kinds of concerns, like let's take acne for instance, I am going to drill them on their diet. Like, let's talk about your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. Let's talk about any snacks. So I'm going to get all of that. I may send them home with like a diet diary to bring in the next time as well. But with the diet diary, I find that clients are really strict and they think about this because they know they're writing it down and they're going to see
Right.
me again. So usually just getting them talking in that time during the consultation, that's the most important, having that client talk to me about their diet and their lifestyle. So I'm going to be looking for inflammatory foods in their diet. And usually it's just that simple. It's cut the dairy out. So things like milk, and unfortunately that means yogurt, that means cheese, it's and it can be detrimental for some clients because that is something that they've been having their entire life sometimes, or it's easy like having a parfait in the morning. Oh my goodness, I know it's amazing, but it is something that we have got to change in order to see a difference in our skin in a more natural way. And sometimes those clients can decrease the dairy and then they're able to have some later and not react as much,
Yeah.
which is the ultimate goal of finding what is the cause and kind of supporting their body with natural treatments like acupuncture, like supplements, like herbal medicine, and then their body understanding, oh, this is what is causing this inflammation, and this is how we take care of it. Really, it would be great to not have it again, but if you're celebrating or life is too short to like have the ice cream sometimes or the gelato. And yeah, I think it's so important to have that balance. But
Um,
yeah, I really look at their diet, um, also their skincare as well. I try to eliminate products that have parabens and phthalates in them. I like EWG's website for the most part. So I'll definitely look on there. If they're using products, then I will kind of look them up there, and I will look up those ingredients as well. Um, Sometimes it's as easy as listening to their consult and hearing, oh, I I sleep on my pillowcases for the entire week. Like,
Yeah.
let's sleep on one side one night, sleep on the other side the next night, and then change it out.
Sure.
So
Sure.
there are definitely different things that we can do for acne, but looking at their lifestyle, looking at their diet is a big component. For eczema, that's kind of different as well. You definitely want to look at their diet because dairy and other inflammatory foods, processed foods, can be an issue as well. But also, what fabrics are they using? What is their clothing? Is it completely polyester? Because we know that that's plastic. So maybe thinking about using cotton and going as far as organic cotton, more loose fitting clothing. Also, with eczema, it can be a stress trigger. So, stress can be a huge trigger for eczema. Kind of looking at that mind body connection and understanding, let me try. I know that I'm giving a speech in a week. So, let me start providing more acupuncture or even meditation if it's something at home. Meditation can be really helpful in those times of high stress.
Yes, I am such a fan of meditation. I was just writing about that before we hopped on and
Oh,
how
awesome.
that does affect your skin in such a big way. And as a person who has lived with eczema and different types of dermatitis in my life for a very long time, I can attest to how uh, big a impact stress makes. And then also, of course, all of the inflammatory lifestyle, foods, all the things. So big. Are there any other just general lifestyle modifications that you recommend for anyone who's listening who is just interested in overall wellness and skin support, or maybe foods or lifestyle modifications?
I guess something that I can say would be to partake in a whole foods diet, eating the rainbow, eating the colors, eating the red cabbage and kale, the cruciferous vegetables, the broccolis and cauliflower is so important. Also to eat in season too. Visit your local farmers market would be awesome place to start to know that, oh, this is in season, or it can be looked up as well. I think that's really important. And if they're interested, kind of lifestyle modification, mind body, to look at journaling or just a quiet meditation. I remember in med school, a friend was saying that she just kind of sits and looks at a candle flame. And it's something to focus on. And I loved that. It's like you're not just like closing your eyes and thinking, oh, I can't think about anything. Don't think about anything. You're able to focus on this flame. And I thought that was beautiful. So
Wow,
just,
that's good.
yeah, find ways to shut your mind off from the noise and come back to yourself.
Yeah. Do you, in your meditation practice, are you like a guided meditation person? Do you use an app? Are you able to just sit there in silence and be completely zen, or what does that look like for you?
I think my meditation practice is more of an active one. So it would be kind of looking at something or focusing my mind on something. I feel like the hot girl walk can be very meditative, or even just washing the dishes or making your daily um, chores or life a meditative component. You're able to just kind of sit and be with yourself. If you're just like washing the dishes or you're mopping the floor or you're getting dinner ready, you are focusing on the foods or the taste or getting this plate clean, but you're able to silence the noise of life and
Yeah.
of the stress of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. That is hard for me to make my mundane tasks meditative, but I really want to practice getting better.
Yeah.
I have to stop always having a podcast in my ear, is my big takeaway from my conversation with you.
No, I mean, I think that it is important though, because this is something that you're interested in, and it brings you joy. So that is another way to meditate, doing something that makes you happy. Even journaling can be super meditative. I think that's another way that I love to just kind of put all my thoughts on paper and leave it right there. Yeah, you can come back and laugh next year about, wow, where was I at that time?
Totally.
hmm
Uh, and then as far as like movement and exercise goes, what does that look like from a traditional Chinese medicine standpoint? Um, Something I always wonder is like, I want to make sure that I'm exercising appropriately for the seasons. What does that look like in a TCM lens?
Like the yoga and qigong would be something that is appropriate throughout the year, throughout the seasons. You're getting your blood flow moving, but you're also moving chi. You're moving energy so that it's not stagnant in your body. Um, but something that would be more intense, I would say, especially for a woman, I wouldn't do a more like intensive exercise during your cycle. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that a little more.
I like that answer. I just think movement is so important to
It
your skin.
is.
I
Oh,
know that when
absolutely.
it's just that whole thing about being stagnant, it's, I know when I'm being a stagnant person, I see it in my skin probably before anything else.
Yes, yes. And it gets the blood moving.
Yeah.
Even just like touching your toes and being there for 20 to 40 seconds, getting that blood flow to your head and to your face, like that is going to bring some glow. You're moving things and you're moving lymph and energy. And yeah, absolutely.
Can we tuck in a little bit more to the idea of chi for somebody who's listening who doesn't necessarily understand that? Like, what is that, and why does somebody want to keep chi moving within their body, and how does that affect the faith?
So qi is in traditional Chinese medicine is our energy, our life force. And you want this to continue moving because it keeps us going. It keeps us moving forward. It keeps our head clear. It keeps our body healthy and able to fight any immune issues that may come up, because getting sick is normal.
Uh,
We want to know that we have an immune response and we have an immune system, but also getting through that sickness in a timely manner teaches you about your body. If you're struggling with a sickness or an illness for too long, and illnesses are are wide and complex, but a cold, if you have that cold for over 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks, if you have that cold for over 5 days and you're not seeing a change, we have to start addressing that immune system. We have to start moving chi and moving the body, moving lymph, getting things to flow better throughout the body. Stagnation causes illness. Stagnation causes a cloudy mind. It causes brain fog, and we do not want that in any capacity.
And with that, I would imagine on the face, it would, perhaps create like dullness, maybe excessive or premature wrinkling. And then acupuncture, correct me if I'm wrong, helps to move chi, correct?
Exactly. It
Okay.
helps unblock meridians that carry chi throughout the body. So you're using various acupuncture points depending on the client's condition or what they're trying to improve. You're needling these acupuncture points in order to move chi in a more optimal way. If chi isn't flowing or chi is flowing in the wrong direction, then we kind of want to get that back on track in order to help them with the condition they're struggling with or what they're trying to improve. So if a client comes to me and they're telling me about their eczema, then I am going to think they're having some kind of inflammation and heat in the body. So I'm going to want to move heat, move out of the body in a way. During that consultation, they are going to talk to me about other aspects of their condition as well. And I'm going to think, oh, maybe it's the stomach, so stomach channel. So I may needle on that stomach channel to move heat. Or it could be on the liver channel. So it just depends on the consultation. That's why it's so individualized and why this medicine is so helpful for clients, because it's not a one size fits all. Um, you can really customize it to that client.
I think that's the biggest difference with Western pharmaceutical medicine, which there is, of course, a time and place, but having that blanket medicine not the most beneficial because we're not hitting where that individualized issue is and the quote unquote root cause, which that is such a overused term recently, but it is, I mean, it was underused for so long.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now, do you primarily do cosmetic acupuncture only for like aging and wrinkle management, or are you doing that also for eczema and acne cosmetically on the face?
Absolutely. I can do that for any premature aging or a dermatological condition. I can apply cosmetic acupuncture. So for my clients, usually if they're coming specifically for aesthetics and cosmetics, then I'm going to also be placing needles to help them with sleep if they're having issues there, and stress and anxiety, because that can play a role in our aging process. But if they're coming for a holistic dermatology consult, then and they're interested in acupuncture, then I can place needles specifically for that and on the face as well for any cosmetic concerns that they're having. If it's not something that they're interested in cosmetically, then I can absolutely just place needles on the body to help with releasing any heat and addressing that dermatological concern.
Yeah. Okay. So good to know. What does it look like for somebody to come work with you? Is it always in person? Is it ever virtual?
Yeah, so I can offer virtual consults for skincare concerns. And during that consult, we're going to be going over any dietary concerns as well as their skincare products. So I can help evaluate anything in those kind of categories. And then in person, we're going to be providing any acupuncture or cosmetic acupuncture treatments, facial cupping. I can also do the consult in person, the skincare consult in person, but yeah, it's pretty flexible for some treatments. I am licensed in Arizona, so if they're coming to see me in Arizona, then I can definitely help with acupuncture and yeah, any
Okay.
cosmetic concerns there.
That was my next question because people from all over the country, all over the world listen. I have
Oh,
quite a few
awesome.
people in Brazil and Spain who
Oh,
listen,
wow.
actually. I don't
Okay,
know why,
that's
but
awesome.
so if someone's in Arizona, where are you local to?
I'm in the Phoenix area right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And
my practice is in Tempe right now. Yeah,
okay.
currently in Tempe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And how can people who are listening find you? Where do you hang out online the most often?
Ooh, that would have to be either on Instagram or my website. So Instagram would be Dr. Kyra DuCharme. So Dr. period Kyra Kira DuCharme DuCharme. And then also DuCharme Integrative Dermatology on Instagram. And my website is The Ocean Native. I know it's a little different from like all.
Well, I was stalking you and I was like, so are you, or where are you from originally?
So I was born in Michigan, but I grew up in the Bahamas. So
Okay. Amazing.
yeah, so I really believe in the healing power of the ocean and how important it is that we find and seek out water sources during the year, even just being able to be next to the water, even if it's a lake or a pond, just having that water source. I think it's important as humans to have that. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I talk to my clients and figuring out what the root cause is or what could be causing their condition could be something as easy as let's switch to a sea sponge instead of not using anything to bathe with or using that towel to bathe with. A sea sponge may be more helpful because it's pretty
Ooh.
much self-cleansing and it will last them a while. So that
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, now I've
yeah.
got to go buy a sea sponge for this. Do you have a place where you like to source some from?
Oh, there's one place. I think it's Fawn. I don't even have my phone here. See,
That just sounds so like magical and yeah, it feels intuitively really good to do that. And I would
absolutely,
assume very like gently exfoliating without stripping off the barrier.
absolutely. Okay, I just found her, but it's Fawn Lily Botanica.
Okay.
FAWN
Okay.
Lily Lily, and then Botanica.
Okay. I will link that in the show notes and I will link all of
Awesome.
your places that we can find you in the show notes as well. Is
Thank
there
you.
anything else you wanted to mention before we head out?
So,
Amazing.
well, thank
Thank
you so much for
you.
having me.
Oh, you're amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for you. I love following you on Instagram. I'm very
Oh,
impressed with everything you do and you are such a rare gem.
oh,
So
thank
thank you.
you.
I'm glad
Thank
that our
you.
paths have intersected. All right. I hope you enjoyed that interview. Again, go give her a follow on Instagram if you would like to reach out to her, if you would like to work with her. I will link all of that info in the show notes. I will be back next week, and until then, be well. You've been listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality. If you liked what you heard today, consider giving me a 5-star rating. It helps other people just like you find the show. You can shop products and find all of my offerings on my website, stratumaesthetics.com, and follow me on my social channels at Stratum Aesthetics.